Alright, so today we're talking about Alone in the Dark 2024. I haven't played the original, probably should. It's credited for creating the survival horror genre, but this game's supposed to be a pretty hard reboot, so I went ahead and started here. This game is a fairly good survival horror light game with an interesting story and good aesthetics, but at the same time it's kind of frustrating that we can't seem to get a great cosmic Lovecraftian game that really just knocks out of the park. Instead, you get a lot more middling games. But speaking of a game that I hope will knock it out of the park, What Happens After Midnight, my action survival horror game, has a demo on Steam available for free. Explore new worlds with strange characters and fight to survive against cosmic aliens. Anyway, back to the game. Let's dig into the gameplay. The shooting is about the very definition of mediocre. It is kind of bad up close, but it doesn't usually come to that. The melee combat has a bad feel to it, where the player is getting launched toward the inside of the enemy. Luckily, you don't have to engage with it that much. There are also these throwable objects that you can pick up that are good, but weirdly you can't keep them with you. The closest thing you can do is move around while aiming it. If you let go, you throw it. It's kind of weird. The enemies have an annoying habit of never stopping when they chase you, and they end up sticking to you like magnets. This makes for probably the worst combat intro I've seen in the game. I'm gonna play a clip from Moist Critical because it went pretty much the same for me.
Oh, it's some kind of zombie. Hey, man. I can't move. Alright, he's just bullying me in the... Okay, I'm still reloading. Can you give me a second? I can't... Just get the fuck away from me. Oh my god.
Firstly, it tries to play a little trick on you by having a second enemy come from around the corner, which will be fine in a further combat scenario, but it's annoying when you're not used to the game yet. You can have a good scary single enemy intro. It's been done. Secondly, it puts you in a small alley. That combined with the magnetic AI behavior of the enemies makes you feel unfairly jumped. Speaking of the enemies, there's not very good enemy variety, even considering that this game's only about 7 hours long. There's good survival horror locks and keys sometimes, but not often enough, and it feels half-baked. One more thing is as annoying how sometimes your character gets caught on small bits in the environment. The story is overall alright, and has a good surrealness factor to it. There are 2 campaigns. The gameplay differences between Edward and Emily are pretty minimal. Emily moves slightly faster and has a different starting pistol. Also, both of them have differing versions of Chapter 4. That being said, even though the basic plot is the same, their stories are fairly different. Edward is a funner character and has a more surreal story, but Emily gets the plot better explained and has a better connection to some of the other characters. And on a side note, she gets bullied by everybody, including the little girl.
Is that supposed to be my... Ow!
You should learn your place, little girl.
Why are you acting this way? What did I ever do to you?
The aesthetics are pretty good with a good variety of horror, noir, and exotic locations. There's also fairly good music. Overall, this is a good game, but with a lot of untapped potential to be a great one. I'm giving this game a 7.63. I should now have a survival horror and survival horror adjacent games playlist that should be at the end of this video. Thank you to anyone who likes, comments, or subscribes. That's it.